afternoon, brothers and sisters. I'm Janella Renner, and we welcome you to this training for church pianists with Dr. Sunbeam Choi. Sacred music can make worship meaningful. President Dallin H. Oaks of the First Presidency said, "Sacred music has a unique capacity to communicate our feelings of love for the Lord. Many have difficulty expressing worshipful feelings in words, but all can join in communicating such feelings through the inspired words of our hymns." It is our hope that through this training, members of the church will use sacred music in church meetings, homes, and in our personal lives to worship God and invite the Spirit. This afternoon, Dr. Sunbeam will share his knowledge and skills on how to improve music in worship services. It is now my privilege to formally introduce Dr. Sunbeam Choi. Sunbeam Choi was born in Seoul, Korea, and began his piano studies at age 5. He continued his education at the prestigious school, Seoul Arts High School. He received a Bachelor of Music degree at Yonsei University in Seoul, where he was awarded the Jingli Scholarship, in addition to being awarded the Honor Student. He continued his study in the Master of Music degree program at the Peabody Institute of the Johns Hopkins University, where he was awarded the Norman J. and Sarah J. Groves Endowed Scholarship. Sunbeam earned a Doctor of Musical Arts degree at the University of Texas at Austin with teaching assistantship. Competitions include the Gold Prize in the National Music Student Competition in Korea, and in 2014, first prize in the American Protégé International Piano Competition, honorable mention in the Bradshaw and Buono International Piano Competition, and in 2018, second place at the Sydney M. Wright Competition in piano accompanying. He made his first public debut in 1996 at Seoul Arts Center Concert Hall. He has performed numerous solo and chamber recitals in many cities in Korea and Japan, including Seoul, Busan, Daegu, Koja, and Tokyo. Also, he has performed at Whale Recital Hall at the Carnegie Hall in New York in 2014 and has been featured in the Thursday Noon Recital Series at Miriam A. Friedberg Concert Hall in 2010 in Baltimore, Maryland. As a soloist, he has performed with the Seattle Ensign Symphony at Ben Ayora Hall in Seattle, Washington. He was also featured in Temple Square performances at Assembly Hall in Salt Lake City, Utah. He also served a mission at the California Anaheim and Busan, Korea mission. So, that is a lengthy introduction with many deserved awards, and we are privileged to have you here tonight. Brothers and sisters, Dr. Sunbeam Choi.
I'm very surprised to see all of you today because I didn't expect that this many people will come today. And if I've known that this many people will come, then I would have, prepared more time. I wish that I have more time to share my thoughts on music in church. But I wish that I could do more, but with the limited time, I'll do my best to pass the knowledge to you and my feelings to you. Today, I'm originally a concert pianist. So usually when I stand up to the stage, I walk to the piano and then sit down on the piano and then play the piano. But today I'm going to not play the piano at all, but I would rather have you play it, and then maybe I can share something what my thoughts about it, and also in general I would like to talk about what it means to be a musician in the church and how we can serve the Lord better through music. In order to do that, instead of just me speaking to you, I'll have some of you come up and play some music, and we can enjoy the music together. And then I'll I'll talk from there more freely. And then after we have some of those, then maybe we can have like Q&A session. So whatever you have in your mind, whatever question you have, you can store it in your mind, and then later when I ask you, you can ask me anything, and I'll try to answer whatever you have in your mind. So I know that there are 4 members who have prepared to play the song to play for us. Good job, good job. Hey, why don't you come up and properly bow? Yeah, properly bow, yes. Good job, yeah. I, that was so impressive. That was so impressive. How long have you played the piano? This is 18 years. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I just recently graduated in a College of Music.
Okay, that explains. Okay, so you studied music, so
Yes.
you already know everything.
Well, concertos. And
Yeah,
stuff.
nice, nice. Okay, okay. Can you tell me how you found this music?
Yes, by my friend. He
Okay.
gave me one of my friend provided me some arrangements because I'm trying to find hymnal arrangements in order for me to play in our ward.
We live in a great era that we can get access through internet and get music anywhere we are. So this is great. You're obviously advanced player, but may I suggest something more that you can convey more musical idea?
Sure.
So yes, I wish that all you can see the music, but it doesn't have to be. I wish that you showed really well on the calm sound and everything. Sometimes, and what I liked about your playing is that you balance the sound very good. Balancing the sound from piano means that you project the melody out of the other background music. Like for example, in the beginning, there's an accompaniment part like this, and then you show the melody very well on your left hand. Like this. And when the switch, the melody is on the right hand and the accompaniment is on the left hand, you did very well. You made your right hand stronger and the left hand softer. Like this. And also, what I can tell from what you're playing that you're very advanced is that not only you just showed which one is the melody and which one is the accompaniment, but also you showed the phrases. Yeah, in general, in music, phrase means a sentence. uh,
Yes.
in music. And how do you usually show the phrases?
Um, Technically, in music, if there's like a slur,
Uh-huh.
more like that.
So when there's a slur,
Yeah.
so when there's a like this kind of line,
Yeah, and this
Yes.
kind of line in each music piece. Yeah.
and you see this as a sentence.
Yes.
So on the piano, how do we show this is a sentence?
Um, well, it's kind of technical.
Yeah, it's technical
Yeah, it's kind
stuff.
of technical. When playing the piano, doing a sentence. Um, like for example, the melody. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna play it the correct way. When you collect the lines, and then it resolves. That's one.
So you
phrase,
mentioned
one
that
sentence.
you said you were saying about going up
Yes, there's a going up.
and
Okay,
then
like the-
resolving going
resolving,
down,
yes.
right? Okay. Um, at least for me, when I hear music and when I feel it, when it is beautiful, it's when it sounds natural. And whenever the music sounds natural, then I feel that it is beautiful. So I would say playing the piano like I speak, then it will sound more natural
Yes.
and it will sound beautiful. So like for example, I would say, how would you say sentence, I went to the church.
I went to the church.
I went to the church,
Yeah,
right?
I went to the
You-
church.
Yeah, you wouldn't say, I went to the church.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you're already laughing at me, right? Yeah. So, yes. Did I sound natural? No, no. If I wanted to sound natural, then I would say, I went to the church. So there should be a beginning part of the sentence and the ending part of the sentence. So I always tell my students to do this all the time, in which you clearly show that you did this. That means that starting point of the sentence, you start soft, and then you get a little bit louder in the middle, and then later, as you get resolving, finishing the sentence, you get softer. So that's what he did, what Julian did. He didn't start. Yeah, what he did was he started softly. Could you hear the difference? Yes. So that's what he did so well. Whenever we play the music, we can apply that all the time. I noticed that when you played the opening hymn, you showed the phrasing as well
Yeah.
too. So that was very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he is very advanced. Why are you here?
I don't know. I was invited.
Okay, but still, I can recommend you something
Thank you.
more.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So, since you're playing this alone as a soloist, you can do whatever you want, right? And I feel that you can be more free when you play this. Meaning that it doesn't mean that you didn't sound free.
Yeah.
You did sound free, but I wish that it could be more.
More free.
Yeah, so like for example, there's a part that goes. Something like this. So the phrase starts. something like this.
Oh.
And when you finish it, you kind of slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you can slow down more.
More.
More, because it looked like you were. I could see, as a musician, I could see that you were feeling the starting point and then the finishing point of the phrasing, and in some way you kind of wanted to go to next right away. Instead of doing that, it would be better to slow down more when it needs to be. Like, for example, here, when it says slow down, retardando.
Yeah.
Something like this. More and more.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, sorry to stop you here. So can you stand up for a second? I would hold more on those notes. For example, here, instead of just going like this, more rubato. Something like this. Okay. Okay, thank you. How does it sound? Better? Yeah, good. And also, I noticed that, I don't know how you feel, but at least in my country, in Korea, some people personally feel that whenever we play the church music, we have to always play quiet. But I disagree with that. I mean, of course, I agree that it doesn't need to sound so loud, and it shouldn't cast away the spirit. But like here, it says you have to grow and has to get bigger. But the big sound doesn't mean that it will take away the spirit away. Yeah. Actually, it can help you better to feel the spirit better. So, for example, if you did your left hand can support more and have more, have a big mountain sound, and that can create and then later when you finish the phrasing to go back to the quiet, then it will create more effective sound. Okay? Can you try that? Why don't you start from here? More on the left hand, the bass. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So I think that way you can truly immerse yourself into the music more and better. And that way you can truly get your testimony out of your heart and then show it, display it through the music. Okay? If this music was the one that you looked at for the first time and played like this, then that's amazing. Yeah. Yes, that is amazing. Yeah. You know, this is another talent that you have. That you said you thought that it was just only in C major, but it began to do the key changes. There's a lot of unexpected things happened, but you didn't stop, and you just make
I
it more
thought of
flowing.
stopping, but I should not stop.
Well,
And,
what's your name again?
Oscar Dries. I'm from
Oscar Dries, okay.
I'm from Pasay Third, from near Magallanes.
Okay.
We call ourselves Magallanes Village.
Okay.
Not
okay.
village, the side of Magallanes.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. Thank you for playing it. Yes. Why don't you have a sit? I still want to talk more. I personally, I started to play for the sacrament meeting since I was 8 years old. It was not because I was good at playing the piano or playing the organ. It's because the bishopric at the time, they wanted to train me as a young pianist to play for the sacrament meeting since I was a young kid. So I was only able to, play very little at the time. And what they did was they gave me the music, the number of hymns. So I practiced the whole week. And then on Sunday I had to play it. And I was so nervous. I was so scared, to play the hymns in front of all the audience at the young age. I was so terrified. And I remember I made a lot of mistakes. And I was sitting there, do I really need to do this? There's other people who can play the piano better than me, obviously, but why do I have to do it? And I asked who asked me to play the piano. And I said, I can do this. And then he said that, just do it. So I said, okay. And I just kept doing it. And later I learned how to adapt the situation like this. Normally I would get a number, the hymn number, to prepare for a week. But sometimes some people may ask me to play suddenly, just can you play this? And then, I haven't practiced that at all. But it was just sudden thing, and then I had to do it. And I had so many experience doing like that, and I had to adapt the situation and then do it right away. And I learned some tips that I can sound better when that happens. So like, for example, you said that this is your first time looking at the music and playing, right? So not only this kind of music, but when you play hymns for the church, and when it is the hymns that you never played it before, you don't have to be scared, because all you need to do is just remember the important things, which are in music. In music, there are, what is the most, for example, in hymns, what is the most important thing, most important elements in the hymns? What is it? Can anybody answer? Okay, maybe this question is too broad.
It's a form of prayer.
Yeah, it's a worship. It's a form of prayer, right? So the most important thing is the words. But words cannot only, so words on, the only word cannot be the hymn. It needs to have music. So in order to make that a hymn, it has to have music. So in musical mind, which element in music, like melody or tempo or beats, what kind of elements is the most important thing, do you think, in hymn music? Yes? Dynamics? Uh-huh. The tempo? Okay. So we have words, and can we sing hymns with words with the dynamic? Can it be a hymn? What? With a melody, yes. Thank you. Yeah. It needs to have a melody. So melody is the most important thing in the hymn. And as a congregation, we all sing the melody, right? If you look at the regular hymn book, it has 4 parts. I'm sure you already know this. It has soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. Now, among 4 of those, which one is the most important part? Alto notes? Soprano? So which one is the most important one? Soprano. Mostly, I would say not all the time, but mostly in soprano, because soprano has the melody. In some hymn music, alto has the melody. And when that happens in the hymn book, it shows that melody is on the alto. But most of the time, melody is on the soprano. So we have to show the soprano. So this is not hymn, but which one is the soprano melody here? Yes, yes. So you just played that, right? Right? Okay. Now, besides soprano, there are other parts that supports the melody. There are, as we know, alto, tenor, and bass. So among those 3, which part is the most important part to support the melody? You are smart. Well, why do you think it's the bass? Well, why am I here? Yes, you're right. You're all right. So bass is the most important part. So where's the bass in this music?
This one.
Yes, this one. And can you play the bass line? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Yes, yes. So, um, can you stand up for a second? If I show you some example, um, if I play this hymn as a hymn style, if I played all soprano, alto, tenor, bass, it'll sound like this, right? Um, if I play soprano only, it'll sound like this. Right? Now, if I play this one with the alto, it'll sound like this. Okay? Now, if I play the melody, soprano melody with the tenor part, then it will sound like this. And if I play the melody with the bass, it will sound like this. Now, among these, which one sounded more fuller? Melody and the bass. Yes. So, if this music is the music that you saw the first time, just look for the melody and the bass. And if you can play other stuff, then you can also play it. But there's so many things to focus. Then just focus on the melody and the bass. So you can skip other parts. Okay? Why don't you play this part? And it had a key change. It changed to A major. Yes, A major. Now, this time, don't try to play everything, but just try to play the melody and the bass. Okay, thank you. Did it feel more comfortable to play? Yes. I can see that he feels so comfortable to playing this, right? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes. Yes. So, this is one, I would say, quality of life tip that I learned as a church pianist, that when this kind of thing happens, just find the most important elements, play the melody and the bass, then it will work out well. Actually, if you look at the simplified hymn book, that music contains only melody and the bass most of the time. And that helps you to play the hymns easily, in easier way. So yeah, this is the one principle that we can use as a tip. Okay. As you played this hymn with the piano, you can grab the mic. You use the pedal to play it, right?
Yes.
How do you use the pedal?
From what I remembered, what the former pianist in our ward, like every line after line, I should raise the pedal, and then
Can you tell me about
every like this line, bar
every
line.
bar line?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
I don't know.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Okay. I noticed that, but I'm not saying that you're doing it wrong. I mean, you're kind of doing it wrong. That's why I'm going to do it. But it doesn't mean that you did it wrong because you didn't learn how to push the pedal properly. So I'm going to tell you how pedal works. Okay. This is how it looks like inside the piano, and when you push the key, there's something called these are called hammer, and whenever you push the key, the hammer hits the string, and that's how it makes the sound. If you look closer, if you look at the piano, so these are the hammer, and if you go look into here, if you look at here, there are these little things that touches the key, touches the string, and these are called damper. Okay, so whenever you push the key, just show here, yes. Then the hammer hits it, and the damper gets away from the string, so that the string can ring, and as soon as you get off the hands off, the damper touches the string to mute the sound. Now, when you push the pedal, let's go down here. There are usually three kinds of pedal, but most of the time we are using the very right one, and we call this sometimes sustaining pedal. Sorry, it's heavy. A sustaining pedal, or sometimes it's called damper pedal because this one controls the damper. Sorry, can you stand up and show the damper? So when I push this pedal, it moves the damper like this. Can you see it? More like this? Yes. Okay. So when I push the pedal, the damper goes away from the string like this. So can you see that? So if I push this, damper is away. So that's why it can sustain the sound. Thank you. Thank you. Now, when you push the pedal, I noticed that you were pushing it like this. Like your feet was pushing like this. But whenever you push the pedal, your what is this called? This part. Sorry, my English is not good. Heel, yeah, that's right, heel. Yeah. The heel always needs to touch the ground, okay? It should not come up from the ground. So it needs to touch like this. And let's imagine this as your foot. And the pedal, you should touch the pedal using this part to push to the edge of the pedal. So like this. Okay? So your heels always touch the ground, and then like this. Now, this way you can control your feet better. And So you can control it better like this, all right? Now, you said that your former pianist told you that you have to change the pedal every bar line. That is not the way it should be. The reason why we're sustaining the pedal is because we want to keep the sound not disconnected. So, like for example, if I play I stand alone mates without the pedal, it'll sound like this. Which is very dry, right? But if I use the pedal, it can be more connected and then it can sound more beautiful. But if you use too much pedal, it will sound muddy. Yeah, it will sound muddy. Now to avoid that, basically you need to change on every note. On every note in the hymns. Because most of the time the hymns are written music in the style of choral music. You don't have to know about this. But those kind of this kind of hymnal music, whenever the notes changes, the harmony changes. And when harmony changes, if you play this kind of harmony all the time with one pedal, it sounds okay. But if you play this kind of harmony, then it will, make noisy sound. So if the harmony changes, you have to change the pedal. So I basically change all the time. So why don't you give that a try? Change the pedal on, try to make your heel touch the ground all the time. Yes. And so that means you have to move your bench a little bit further. It will be more comfortable. And also change the pedal on every note. Okay, did it sound better? Yes, yes. Thank you. Yeah. Now, every piano has different mechanics. Sadly, every piano is different, and so every pedal is different too. Like, for example, this piano is a little bit old, and when you try to change the pedal, you have to make your feet all the way up to truly change the pedal. So how do we find that out? Is by our ears. We have to listen to the sound, and if it sounds muddy, then you change. You change more. So, for example, I would raise my feet higher to change the pedal. Okay, let's try that. Yes, this sounds better. Yes, yeah. Okay, so I hope that as you play the hymns, when you use the pedal, you can remember these things and change it every time Don't make it muddy. Don't make it dirty. So it can be cleaner. Okay? Thank you.
So what I'm going to play today is entitled I'll Find You My Friend. It's a piano accompaniment on SATV. And it is arranged by Ricky Oxiano. Thank you.
So, as a accompanist, what are the things that you look for when you play for the singing?
Probably more like accompaniment with less melody.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a better accompaniment for SATV choir.
Mm-hmm. So, you said less melody.
Yep.
Uh-huh. What do you mean by less melody? When you play this music with the choir, the important part is the choir part, right? So do you try to play it less? I mean, quieter than the choir? Because the choir is
Yes.
is more important? I'm just asking.
Yes, unless the music piece refers to MF or forte.
Uh-huh.
But on the music piece, it only plays
Mhm.
MP, which is mezzo piano.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I should only play it soft.
So you think you need to play it soft?
Yes.
Okay. Don't do that. Don't play it soft. Okay? Yeah. The word accompaniment sounds kind of weak because it gives a sound that you have to, support the main singer. And I mean, it is right that you support the main singer, but also, not only you support the singer, but you also sing together through the piano. So you should not think that whenever you play for the choir or you play for the congregation at the sacrament meeting or other kinds of meeting, don't play it soft. Like for example, can I play a little bit? So in the beginning, actually, instead of the singing part, the piano starts alone, right? So even though it says mezzo piano, I would say you should play mezzo forte instead of mezzo piano. So. this is only you. So you have to show, okay? And then when it comes with the sound, with the singing part, let me show you how it should sound. So, do you all know the word of this song? Would you sing with us? Okay. Thank you. Beautiful. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, I played the introduction part, not mezzo forte, but actually more on the forte, so people can hear because there's a lot of people. And when they started, I played the bass line very loudly. But this part, I made it softer because if I make this one loud, yeah, then it will change the mood, and then I don't like
So
it.
loud bass and soft melody.
Yes, yes.
Soft right hand and
Uh-huh.
loud
Yeah,
left
the
hand.
reason why I make my right hand soft here is because it's not the melody.
Oh, I see.
Okay, but besides the melody, the second important part is the bass line. So that's why I showed more on the bass line.
So
Okay.
you're gonna play loud here on the chorus because it's melody.
Sorry.
You're going to play loud on right
Here?
hand.
Oh yes, because it has the melody.
I see.
Okay. So why don't you give it a try?
For the
Yeah,
first
from
verse.
from the beginning, and then maybe because we don't have much time, we will just sing one verse, and you can play the introduction part as your soloist, and then when the song starts, you can show whatever the important part is. Okay? Okay, ready? Right hand softer. Right hand softer. Sorry to stop you here. Can you make your right hand softer? Now, if you move your hands more, then we'll make more sound. So in order to make it soft, what should you have to do? Move less. Okay? Yes, move less. Yeah, that way you can make it softer. Okay, thank you. Yes. That sounds better. Yes. So, yeah. So, don't be scared to project yourself when you play for the choir and or for the congregation. Do not make yourself soft. Okay? It should be loud. Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you. Okay, so maybe I can tell you more tips on playing the hymns for the sacrament meeting. Um, like I said, the church pianist should not hide and be soft. Actually, we should project more sound. If you listen to the general conference, you can hear the organ music that's not always soft, you know, and especially, I mean, when the organist plays the prelude and postlude, they just play as freely as they do because they are just soloists. One thing I noticed is that they don't stop suddenly just because the conductor comes up to the podium. They always finish the music, and the conductor always waits for the music and then starts the meeting. So whenever you play the prelude in the church, don't stop suddenly because the bishop is up there. Just play until you finish, and bishop should wait for you to finish the music. That's how it should be. We have stronger power. I'm just kidding. Also, you know, in reality, when we play hymns for the congregation, people tend to hear you more than looking at the conductor. You should not play soft. Like, for example, all right, I will play Call to Serve for you. And yeah, and then I'll talk more. So we don't have much time, so let's sing only one verse, okay? Can somebody come up and conduct for us? Yes, thank you. It was somewhat louder, right? Can you find any other difference than the regular? Yes?
With you playing loud, it inspires the singers to sing louder,
Uh-huh.
and that I think invites more power and conviction into the spirit of the anthem.
Thank you. Yes?
More of the character of the piece.
More of the character of the piece. Thank you. Mm-hmm. It's a march, yes. Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
It is all about marching with the 4 feet.
Yeah, marching. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think it was more livelier and more powerful.
Felt more lively or powerful. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
More, more inspiring.
More inspiring. Thank you. Yes?
The left hand was jumping a lot.
My left hand was jumping a lot. Did you see that? Uh-huh.
And yeah, as they said, it really introduced a more march effect.
Mm-hmm. More marching. Mm-hmm.
Phrasing.
Phrasing. Thank you. Yes, yes. Oh, you're a good student. So normally this is written in this way. if I just play it, then my left hand will play only single melody. But this time when I played it for you, I added the bass note. So I played it as an octave. So that's why my hands were jumping. So this way I created the sound more powerful and more kind of like a marching. So that way, didn't you feel excited when you sang the song as you listen to this? Yes. Let's do another one. Let's sing hymn number 130. 130. And this is Be Thou Humble. Okay? Can I have a conductor again? Yes. Thank you.
What's the hymn book?
Yeah, 130.
Okay.
We'll just sing one verse. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I intentionally played the prelude, introduction, and when we actually started to sing, I played it differently. Have you noticed that? So how did it feel different? It's more gentle. Thank you. So, calm, more calm. Mm-hmm. What else did you feel? You felt more emotion? Okay. Do you know what I did differently? Technically? This time, I did the same thing as we sang the Call to Serve. I added the bass note. So instead of just playing these 4 notes, I played the 5 notes. So originally, it was but when you started to sing, I added the bass notes. So it creates, I would say, the warmer environment and warmer mood. I got this idea from playing the organ. Have you seen the screen, the video playing when the tabernacle organist plays the organ? There's so many buttons, right? And did you know that there are more than 5 keyboards, but not only those, but also the pedal is also the keyboard. Yeah, and Brother Richard Elliott, he is one of the best organ player. He can, like dance like this, playing the music. Yeah. When you play the organ, and when you, usually you play the bass note with the pedal notes. And because it has a lot of buttons. You can add more bass into it, and a lot of organists does that. And when they do that, they create the bigger, but not only strong, but also warmer sound. So I applied that into the piano playing too. And when you play the hymns for the congregation, you can do the similar things. If you learn some new technique on the piano, then you can add more to create the better spiritual sound. So this is one tip. Adding the bass can be stronger, but not only stronger, but also can be warmer. So you can use this trick. And also, sorry. You can swap the alto and the soprano. So like, for example, instead of playing this, something like this, then it will create a little bit of, ostinato sound, and this requires some practice. So you can practice adding the bass or flipping soprano and alto. You can be creative, and that way, when you play the hymns for congregation, it doesn't have to be just. You can be. You can use the full potential of piano to do that. Now, I got these ideas by playing the organ, actually. The organ has a longer history than the piano. And actually, the organ was used for the religious ceremony since it was very long time ago. And that's why in general conference, we use the organ, because the organ creates the sacred mood much better than other instruments. So that's why I ask people to bring the electronic piano, because I noticed that in the Philippines, in the chapel, usually you have, sometimes you have acoustic pianos, but most of the time you have the electronic piano. So when you play the hymns, try to use the organ sound, because that's the original sacred sound. I noticed that this one has a lot of options for the organ. So if I just play this as an electronic piano, it will sound like this. But if I use the organ, so you can use the electronic piano to create what general conference would sound like. Okay, so but this will require to for us to touch it before. So I think it's very important for the pianist or organist in the world that you should know your instruments, and before the meeting starts, you make sure that you always talk to the conductor. I mean, of course, you are stronger than conductor usually, but still you need to show them respect and talk to them, and then find the tempo, the right tempo that you're going to play for the congregation. So you need to be one, and that way you can create more. create a spiritual, more spiritual meeting. Um, I have so many other things that I want to tell you, but the time has gone already like this. So actually the things that I told you may be new to you, or maybe something you already know, or something you're used to it. Most of the things that I learned is from the church website, actually. So if you go to the music.churchofjesuschrist.org, then you'll find many resources. I found it very useful, especially the part where it, it has the keyboard instruction. So it teaches you how to find the key and find the notes, and then actually which one is your finger number, how to apply that into the hymn music, and then it actually helps you to practice the hymn music. So you can use that, and also not only that, if you're a skilled pianist, you can try to look at it's something called, it's New Organist for the World, and it's in the website. It is a series of podcasts that was produced by one of the professors at BYU. It teaches the great many skills that you can use for the organ playing too. So I suggest you to go to the website and use that resource a lot too. When I was young, the congregation didn't sing very loud, and I was told that I had to sing softer than the congregation at the time. So I made it softer and softer, and then eventually my sound didn't really coming out. So I decided to just make it very loud. No matter what they do, no matter how they sing, I'll just made it loud, because later I learned that as a church pianist and organist, you should not only supporting the congregation, but you are leading them in the meeting. They listen to you and then sing. So, and I noticed that when I made it louder and louder, they tend to sing louder. So just play it loud. I mean, of course, not too noisy, not too much, but just enough that they can hear it. Okay? If they don't sing loud and you can hear only yourself, that's fine. You're still worshiping the Heavenly Father, and that way, some people may, feel the Spirit through your music. Then it counts. Okay, so just play it loud.
Hi. Most of the pianists are kind of like really hard. They're having a struggle with practicing. As a pianist, what would you tell them to, have a little encouragement for each, every? I know there's some of us, many of us here are pianists.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell them to become more enthusiastic playing the piano?
Well, I would say practice and practice.
Yeah.
But if you just practice mindlessly, it doesn't work. In my life, what I usually do is, because I don't only practice church music, but also I practice classical music that I usually play. And whenever I practice, before I start practicing, I always start with a prayer. Mm-hmm. And because that way I can, learn the things that faster than I usually do. I ask Heavenly Father to help me with that, so I can save more time, so I can play more video games. Yes, so yeah, I would suggest that whatever you start to practice, ask Heavenly Father to help you. And I know that we all are busy and we have limited time, and some of us may not have access to the piano all the time, but whatever we can do our best, whatever we can do. So if we can come to the church daily they'll be perfect. But if we cannot make it daily, then just once a week is fine. Just try to find a way. And if we cannot find a way on our own, we can ask Heavenly Father to help us to find a way to, improve our skill. That's what we want.
Based on my experience, we're not just playing for just one audience. For example, we're not just playing for a congregation. Sometimes we also play for primary children.
Yes.
We play for choir groups, So are there necessary adjustments that we should make? Like how can we effectively adapt depending on our audience?
That's a very good question. And I think it's very important skills to, adapt in whatever situation we are in. Especially when you have to play for the children, it can be a very interesting experience. I was called to be a primary pianist as well too. I'm a concert pianist, but they asked me to play for the primary. So I went in there and then I started to play, but they don't listen and they are, jumping around and that happens. But I think it's depending on the director most of the time. If the music director knows how to handle those situations, and as a pianist, we just need to follow the director. I'm a concert pianist, but I just, didn't, scream at the children or, I just sit down and just whatever the children music director said, and it just worked well. I think that director was inspired by the Lord at the time, and sometimes they ask me to play the children's song very fast or slow, and sometimes it was too much, but I just do whatever I can, and if I have to, skip some notes, I skip some notes. And if I can play the whole thing, then I play the whole thing.
What is your advice to pianists who would like to learn how to read sheet music without having the need to write the letters corresponding the notes in order to play the piece?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm sure that there are many lectures on YouTube, but not only that, the church has a great resource, like I said. It has a keyboard instruction, and it talks about how to find the note and read the notes. So if you follow those, if you read those one and one, and it will help you to learn how to read the music and play the music better. So yeah, I would suggest you go to if you cannot find a music teacher around your area, just go to the church website, and it has all the resources. Church has a great deal on that.
Thank you, Paul.
Any other question? Yeah.
As a church keyboardist or organist, will it be we do sometimes feel so emotional that we tend to play more notes, play with our fingers while doing the church hymns. Is it sacrilegious, or would it be okay to do such things while the congregation is singing?
There's no restriction that you cannot play additional notes from the hymn book. You can add some notes, but I would suggest that listen to the general conference, because when when the organist plays the congregational hymn with the congregation, you can listen to the organist adding some notes, but it doesn't go away from the style of the hymn book. So the style of the hymn, like I said, it was like a choral style in musical term. That is the setup for the worshiping for the church, worshiping in the church. So you should not really go away from that a lot, but if you want to add more note, like I did, adding more bass note or flipping some notes, I personally feel that that is fine. But there's no restriction that you cannot change the, you know.
So when you were new in playing the piano, how do you handle stage fright?
So can you remember?
How do you handle stage fright? Because during choir practices, I find myself playing okay, but when it's time for the choir, like to sing itself on the stake conference, my hands would get so sweaty, like
Yes, yes, I know that. I know that. Um, Believe it or not, whenever I go up to the stage, I always get nervous, and I always sweat a lot, and yeah, and stage fright is real, but it doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing. Okay, as a concert pianist, I learned how to manage those feelings, changing it into actual energy for me to focus and to project it better. So I remember the first time I played for the congregation in sacrament meeting, I was so terrified, and then, the music looked all blanked and I couldn't see anything. But as I did more and more, as I had more experience, I learned how to manage those feelings into, making an actual energy into it. Like, it's just like that. When we give a talk for the sacrament meeting or other meetings, when we do that for the first time, we get really scared. I mean, even now, I get sometimes scared in front of the people, but as we do more and more of that, we learn how to adapt that feeling, and I think that can help you. So singing in the choir for the congregation in the meeting may be scary at the time, but just do it. And mostly, we have someone who can help us, whatever we need, so we can pray and ask for help. That helps a lot. And I personally use one particular way is that I eat banana right before the stage, because I read it from some scientific facts that banana helps us to calm down. So yes, I always eat banana before I go up to the stage. And the banana here was so delicious. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much all for you to coming, and thank you so much for your question and your thoughts, and thank you all who shared your talents and played for all of us. I'm so happy to see so many people here, because that means that you are very interested in the music in the church. And like I said, music is a very important part in our worshiping. And I love music because through the music, I was able to strengthen my testimony and strengthen my faith. And I hope that the same thing can happen to you. You all can get comforted and also strengthen your testimony through music. You serve in the church as a church musician. I'm sure that Heavenly Father will give you so much blessing, and He will help us to grow more and be happy. And I say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.